Hey everybody, welcome to our Tuesday night team Zoom call. Very exciting tonight. We have just come off of National Optimal Health Day, and I wanted just a few people to share their experience. I know we all had smaller crowds, everyone I've talked to, but they were very personal, and I just wanted to find out, I'm really glad that we did it in Atlanta, and it was a beautiful morning, and even though we didn't have a huge crowd, it was really nice to connect with people, and some of the people we got to connect with made deeper relationships. So I just wanted a couple people to share. Let's see, Susan Giesland, you did an event here in Atlanta.
Yes, we did. We did a hike over at the Roswell Mill, and we had about 9, 10 people, I think. Mainly clients or spouses or stuff like that. One candidate for me, but we just had a really great time. It was perfect weather. It was about a 75-minute hike, I think it was, and it was kind of funny because it was either my husband or Dee's husband that was leading the pack and reading the map. But we had a really good chance to kind of get to know each other and foster a sense of community, which is really what I wanted to achieve with that. And I think Vicki did too. We kind of co-hosted it. But it was a great opportunity to just kind of do something healthy and not have to have a presentation or I didn't want people to feel like, it was something like that. I wanted it to be something that was just fun, develop that sense of the community. So, and I think it really did. Everybody talked to everybody the whole time. We traded places in line on the hike, and so it was a really great time to get to know one another. Awesome. Do it again in a heartbeat. Yeah, we do it again.
Did you like that
Absolutely.
format of just informal getting together and connecting?
Yeah, and doing something healthy, like that, because when you do something like that together as a group, it's kind of bonding, So yeah, I would definitely do that again.
Nice. Very, very cool. Julie, did you do something in Charlotte? Do you want me to get you?
There's a place called the Whitewater Center here in Charlotte that is, it's like the training center for the Olympics, and they have whitewater rafting and paddleboarding and all kinds of outdoor adventure stuff. So I had planned an afternoon for people to come out if they want to do activities. And then they have live music at night that's free. So I said anybody can come afternoon or come in the evening. So I ended up having, I think there were probably close to 10 to maybe 12 of us Saturday night. It was a mix of clients, friends, family. And then what was really cool is there's another client here in Charlotte, which I need to connect with him more, but he and his wife came in the afternoon. They reached out to me because I had registered our event. And he said, I saw your event. I would like to get more information and come and meet you. So he and his wife came out on Saturday afternoon, and that was really neat. He's lost like over 100 pounds. I'm not sure who his coach is. It's somebody in South Carolina, but we got to connect, and it was really just inspiring to hear his story. And he wanted to get more plugged into the Charlotte community. So that was kind of fun to meet somebody else. And he enjoyed plugging in and meeting people afterwards at the music part of the event.
That's such a great creative idea, just using that to do something local and fun. Would you do something like that again? Did you like that idea or format or health, connecting for health?
So I would definitely do it again. I probably would put more. It happened to fall on a day that I had a lot of other stuff going on with where I teach classes, so I couldn't put as much time and energy into it. So I left it pretty open and low key. So if I did it again, I would definitely put more energy into inviting and being more proactive about who's coming. It happened to fall on a Saturday when tons of my clients were tailgating and at football games and not even in Charlotte. So there were a lot of things that kept it to be a smaller group that I would try to work to make it a little different turnout. But I would definitely do it again because of the outdoor. And like Susan said, having something where people feel they can be outdoors. It's not threatening. It's just a fun environment and it's super like low key. But if you want to do activities, it's a totally different dynamic because then you can be doing rafting and all kinds of fun stuff. So you can attract different people.
True. Very true. It's interesting because they've always done it on a Thursday night or a Thursday. And then I guess they did it on a Saturday, and the Saturday whole host of problems, kids sports and, football. And so we definitely all saw that. And so I don't know what the best answer is. If y'all have one, throw it out there. But, so, Sandy, y'all did something, and thank you, Jules. Thank you for doing that in Charlotte. And I love that new people are kind of coming. Sandy, you did one connected with Cheryl Took's team, who's she's been around longer than I have, and very seasoned coach. And how was your event?
It was a small event too. Terry was there and Robin came. It was cute because Cheryl Took's dad, who's 87 or 85, at least 85, he came too to do the walk, and he was just trucking across the parking lot and just full of energy. And we just did kind of like a nature walk. We did a mile, and there were 13 turkeys that were following us all along the way, and lots of nature. It was beautiful, just a real simple walk. Was over quickly, and then we just kind of dispersed. But it was neat that we could meet with Cheryl, even though she's not on our team. And for those of you that don't know, she's in the old Quick Start guide Cheryl Took, and she lives here, like, I don't know, 10 minutes from me here in Michigan. So it was fun. We had a good time.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's, I love the sense of, kind of what everyone's been saying is a sense of community for a purpose, the purpose being creating health versus anything else. And so I love that. So thanks y'all for participating. And Sandy, you came out with your sister. We had a small group too, but it was really great. What did you think, Sandy? You want to share? Hold on, I'll get you off mute. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was glad. Yeah, I was glad we could make it as much as we were able to make there, the walk. And it was an early morning walk. It got our day off to a good start. I had to pack up my sister and take her to the airport pretty quickly afterwards. So I wish we could have stayed for the other activities. But it was just a nice time. I got to meet more of the team and get to know them better. So it really was a bonding experience. And we had a good time walking. The walk was lovely. The morning was lovely. And it just overall, I was just thinking when you're talking about what we could do to address the small crowds and the Saturday activities, competing and everything, I don't know, maybe a whole week of events. So that way you can plan them whenever it works for your particular group. And
great idea, actually.
Yeah,
great idea.
So and I think that way, it may work for more people, because you'll be able to kind of tailor it to your group. But we had a great time. I'm glad we came out. I didn't know if we'd be able to make it or not, but we did. And we just had a real good time meeting everybody.
Great, Sandy. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wanted to share a little bit, and again, I'm going to share just so briefly because I don't know all the details, and I brought it up last week, and I didn't get a chance to learn more about it. But one of the people that I have been coaching, one of my mentors, is a guy named Dave Blanchard. And those of you that were at convention last year, not this past summer, but the year before, he was one of the speakers. And some of the globals got together he's a big coach, and we got together and did a 14-week course with him. Very great experience. And as part of that, I'm in this power session that's gone on, and it's on Tuesday afternoons. It's from 2 to 3. His son, Paul, talks about it. They have 6 principles, basically. And what they talk about, it's really just great stuff in terms of the separating who we are, what our heart's desire is, what our purpose is for being, serving in the world, being us in the world, and the noise in our head. What do we tell ourselves? So he does an assessment, and many of you have taken that assessment. I've shared my assessment. And basically it's just a measure of, it's a mathematical measure of your thought process. And is it serving you or is it not? And they go through these principles, and what he does, they go through them every week, and it takes about 6 months, or 6 principles, 1 principle a month in each of them. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about, one of our classes, but they're opening it up to other people, basically. And they're offering and like I said, I have subscribed to it, and I don't have time, an hour on a Tuesday afternoon, but I make it. Like, I don't answer calls. If you call me at 2, I probably won't answer it. And I've carved out that time to always go. It's that valuable to me. And so I really, so they're opening it up. I'm going to give you the details. I'll post it in Team Palace. I'll probably send an email out. And he's doing a sample he calls them a power session. He's doing one on Thursday. Register so you can check it out. He'll go through quickly all the principles and see if it resonates with you. It's not really, really expensive, but it's not in the course of for what they usually cost, but it is an investment. I think it's about $100 for the first 3 months and $29 a month after that. So it's not huge. So it's about $300. I definitely spend a lot more for what I've done, but I really find it valuable. And I thought this would be a great thing for those of you that are interested in growing your business. I mean, there's a lot of Take Shape for Life people on. It's a webinar format. You can ask questions, but I found it real valuable. So when I give you the link, register to check out Thursday. And even if you can't attend, they'll send you the recording. So register for it. But I wanted, Dee, you have read, Paul Blanchard has been a big influence on you. And can you talk a little bit about how his work has served you?
You're talking about Dave Blanchard, right? Dave Blanchard's book. I think you said Paul. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm very interested in learning more about this workshop. At Convention 2015, if you were there, Dave Blanchard was one of the featured speakers, and he has a book called Today I Begin a New Life. And it struck a chord with me. I listened to him. I was very interested in what he presented. Then I read his book, and then I shared with Susan that I actually reread it again 1 year later. And the biggest takeaways for me and the mind shift for me was around, he really talks about, he uses a term called agape love. And basically what that means is really putting yourself in the other person's shoes and asking questions and listening and really coming to a place of finding out where another person is. And you can apply this to anything in your world, not just our business. And what I found personally was that it is very easy for me to start thinking about me. And what do I want? And what do I need? And do I, need another client, or do I need another health coach, or whatever it is? And it's very easy to put the emphasis on what I want and not what the other person wants. So that was a big shift for me. I mean, it sounds silly, but it was. And it's something that when I reread the book, and even just recently, I realized I started slipping into that old pattern again. So that was a big game changer, because when you start to connect with somebody, and especially from a trilogy perspective, and what we offer, it really opens the conversation more, I think, to all levels of what we offer as a health program to people. And the other thing was, and it was really helpful to me, is that there's a lot of mental chatter that happens in our head. So we can be given, guidelines on, if you want, to reach a certain level, you need to talk to X amount of people. And, we've got guidelines, we know what works, but we get in our own way because of chatter that goes on in our head. And it could be fear. Usually I think it's fear related, but it's fear related again, or the emphasis becomes about us. And so for me, it helped to clarify that, get very, very clear on what my goals were, what I wanted and why, like what was important to me, and then be able to visualize it. And then, okay, if I want that, what do I have to create? And what would be those steps in the process? And it made those difficult steps easier. So that was a very long-winded answer, but I think hopefully it gives you a picture of what could be possible.
No, that's great. Yeah, agape love, he talks about, is a higher level of consciousness, love that we have for other people and the desire to serve. And that's so true. And I think what you're right, that mental creation too, he talks about that. And they give you practices on how to do it. I thank you, Dee. Great. I am very jealous because Liz Hilton is working with Dave Blanchard himself. There you go, Liz. So I wanted
Yep,
to
I
share.
am.
And you're
Here's
not
that.
on the power sessions yet. I was telling her about
Not
it.
yet.
I was telling her about it, and she goes, I want to be on them. So anyway, this is before I knew they were open.
I do.
Like, all excited.
Yeah. No, I am very privileged to be working with Dave one-to-one right now, and it's incredibly helpful. All things that Dee said, spot on. And what I will, just to clarify, with Take Shape for Life, we have a lot of great strategies. The map, we learn skills there. We learn, client acquisition, coach acquisition, supporting clients, building teams. Those are skills. But what I find that I get with Dave and with this kind of mentoring is that mindset shift that sometimes I'm in my own way. Dee said that same thing. When I'm in my own way and my business isn't growing, I can have all the skills that I need, but if my business isn't growing, there's something going on inside me, and chances are it's a mindset. And what I think, what I've picked up from Dave is sort of being able to get into an observer's place about your own life. In fact, one of his books is called The Observer's Chair, and to see how, your mind, excuse me, how you have limited thinking. And when you're in the observer's chair, you're in a lot better place to be able to look at that and say, okay, here's my trigger. So for instance, I'm going to just be really transparent and share with you a trigger. Last night I was listening to the leadership call, and there was another team that made global in 6 months. And I'm flipping out like, oh my God, I've been at ED for 2 years and I'm stuck, and and was headed to a tailspin in a funk, right? And I had the privilege of being able to email Dave and said, this is driving me crazy. I can't watch these anymore. They're too painful. And he got back to me, and his word, which is so true, he said, you're pressing up against that limit in yourself, Liz, where in the past you would quit. You'd quit things when they got hard. And now that you observe it, you can change the dialogue around that and say, when I feel this, when I hear this dialogue that says I want to quit, or it's too hard, or I'm just not good enough, or whatever that dialogue is for me, this is what you're now going to say. I'm diving in with more action and more attention. And so it's that kind of stuff where I can have all the skills in the world, but what I need to be able to do to grow a business and to be more successful in my business is work on myself. And that's one of the things I love about TSFL. It's one of the hardest things about TSFL, but that's the kind of thing that I think you can get in doing this kind of work with the Blanchard, with the Augmentino group. So if you're at all curious about how it would impact your business, I highly encourage you to tune into that Thursday power session and see what it's like and see what's there for you. Because it's pretty powerful stuff.
Great.
Thanks, Susan.
Yo, Liz, that's awesome. When I heard that too, I was like, oh, I bet I was going to call you. I was like, okay, Liz, because, well, it's funny because that's just her thing. Everyone has their thing, but, but it is like the 10-minute mile, like with the person who ran the 4-minute mile before it was possible or something. So anyway, I'm going to give you a little bit, if it's okay, what our, like one portion of our power session was today, these questions. I said, there's some powerful questions, and these are to ask ourselves. So I'm going to share my screen real fast. And again, this is just a little overview, but it'll give you a little sense of what kind of things that your assessment that you'll do can provide for you. And then you want to assess the assessment, and that's what this is. So let me see if I can share my screen. Let me see if I can. All right. So basically, great question. How challenging is it for you to be in the present moment? So when you're talking to somebody, are you thinking about how to answer them? When you're talking to a client, are you looking at your screen, your Facebook? Are you, looking at this? Because, sometimes when they don't see us, we're looking somewhere else. So are you multitasking? How present are you when you sit down with someone? Are you listening? With that intent to understand that agape love, what Dee talked about. Are you focused on looking, what are you going to say? Be in the answer. And we'll talk more about like how do we ask questions, because again, that's really important, that our answers are not important. It's our questions that really matter, that help someone else be heard and helps us connect with them. The second one, what's your current level of passion? And he distinguishes passion, it's not enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is a pilot light for passion. Just like infatuation is a pilot light for love. Love requires commitment. It's richer, it's fuller, it encompasses way more investment than, we can get enthusiastic all we want, but do we have a passion inside of ourselves for what we're doing that will propel us to make those choices, to set the structure, to do the discipline, to show up? That takes a bigger commitment, and a fleeting enthusiasm, is not going to do that. So what is our level of passion? 10 being, the greatest, or 1 being just getting through the day, in that obligation mode. 3, this is a good one. How organized is your execution? And what he means by that is not how organized is your desk. Because a lot of times our desks mass, that organization, I don't know how many coaches tell me, I'm getting organized. And, I've got to get my desk organized. It's like, it's just a kind of procrastination for getting, what really matters is connecting with another human being. And are we doing that? And so how organized is our execution? Do we do things, when we're in action? Are we like all in action, all excited, and then nothing? Or do we have a steady flyer? Do we have a steadiness in our execution, in what really matters around moving us forward and our business forward? It's not bursts and then wane. And we all know that. And, talking about, so what gets in, the next one is what gets in the way of you getting what you want? And what he talks about here is that the brain does not want to stretch and grow. It's a very uncomfortable place for our brain. We have a limbic brain our brain wants comfort. Our brain wants habit. Our brain wants familiarity. And doing this kind of work is anything but. We've got to stretch. We've got to grow. We've got to get a little bit out of our comfort zone in order to reach. And the heart, he says, it's interesting, the heart wants to stretch and grow. That's why we do aerobics. But the head, the brain, comfort zone, routine, and habit. That's why it's so hard for us to change habits. The brain perceives it like a threat. And then when you procrastinate, what price do you pay for it? And what triggers procrastination? And that's what, that's really it's not that everybody procrastinates, but what triggers it? And then what does that cost you really? How many people have you not served? And then who are you not showing up as? And there's this great quote from Zig Ziglar, and it says, you are the only person to bring, I don't have it exactly, but I'm paraphrasing it. You are the only person to bring what you have to the world. It's an awesome responsibility. Like only you can bring your gifts and talent to the world. It's an awesome responsibility. And I think we have that responsibility when we know something, when we believe in something, when we can serve someone in some way, that we have a responsibility to show up as that and to offer it, not in a way that's talking that someone who doesn't want it, but in a way that we can love somebody, agape love. We can serve humanity. So anyway, that's just a few little things that I can post that for y'all. And that's just a little thing that we went over today. So any questions y'all like? Good stuff? Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, Suze?
Can you post the link to take that test, that assessment that you mentioned earlier?
Yes. Yes. Maybe not easily and maybe not immediately, but yes. In fact, if you, on Thursday, he'll probably, well, I think you can go to, yeah, it's D. You helping me out here? Hold on. Okay, you're unmuted.
So I just did another one the other day, and you just go to it, and I can post it on your page. It's www.ogmandaino.com. And then if you scroll down, it'll say take a free assessment. I'll post the link.
Yep, ogmandaino.com. Now, did you get all the answers? Because I know that they gave that if you do TSFL, is in the you can get the upgraded. Julie, did you do that? Get the upgraded responses, upgraded. Did you get that?
Well, I got answers. And in fact, today somebody emailed me and said, would you like a complimentary, like 20-minute evaluation of it?
Cool. All right. Then, but if you get asked for a code, do TSFL. And I think capital or lowercase, it doesn't matter. Oh, but what we did find out was that it is manual. So you might not get the discount. But you did it's a free, right? Okay. Yeah. I'll go in tomorrow because I need to update mine. I haven't done, mine's been over a year or something like that. So I'll update it and I'll show you. But and I will post the information about Thursday and the information they gave me. I haven't gone through it yet, so I just got it today. So cool. Awesome. All right. Well, good night, everybody. Thanks for all you do and being you. And oh, no call next week. I'll post it, but there's no call next week. And hop on the Health Games call. It was really good at 8:30 if you wish. So good night, everybody.